Morning, everyone. Well, today is D-Day. Today I am off to the tax office in Florida to register my vehicle and get my driver's license in Florida. I think I've prepared. I think I've got everything in order, but I have to tell you I'm a little bit apprehensive only because it's such an important thing. So come along with me. I'm sure I won't be able to film or video in these various offices, but I certainly would like to have you come along, and I'll give you a report after each stop. The first stop is an insurance company agency where I'm going to purchase my Florida insurance, and that's the last piece of information I need to take with me, and then I'm off to the Sumter County tax office. So come along for the ride. Here I am at the insurance agency just as a train blew through town, so I hope you can hear me. I'm about to go inside and take care of business. Well, the insurance policy went just fine. Expensive, but fine. And here I am now at the Sumter County tax office where I'm about to try to get a Florida driver's license and to register my vehicle. So wish me luck. Here we go. Well, I feel a little taller today. I walked out of the tax office with a new plate and driver's license. It went just as smoothly as it possibly could. An interesting little story: as I was walking back to the car, I noticed that they had spelled my last name wrong, which is an easy mistake to make. Before they printed everything, they asked me to verify all the information, and I was so concentrated on the address that I completely missed the fact that they spelled my last name a little wrong. So I had to walk back in and spend another 10-15 minutes apologizing and having things redone, which they did at no charge. So I'm very happy about that. So it's been an expensive day between buying insurance and then getting the car registered. It went smoothly because I had all my paperwork and all my ducks in order. Well, I've done it. I feel a little bit like the day after Christmas. It's been such a focus. You know what it's like for a holiday. You do all this preparation, and it's been your focus, and everything you're thinking about and getting together and these kinds of things. And now it's all over, and I'm glad, and everything went very, very well. But as I said, it's like I look around and think, well, now what am I going to concentrate on? But there's lots and lots of things to do. So anyway, I promised that I would give you an update, and that's what I'm doing, kind of a recap of part 2 here. And these are my recommendations. I'm kind of looking down because I made some notes so I don't forget anything. Number 1, get your address. Make sure that your in-state address is, well, you know what it is. In my case, I didn't quite understand how important that was and what it involved. Thankfully, I used the Escapees mailing organization. There are other organizations in other states that probably can also help you in the major states that are good for nomads, which I talked about in part 1: Florida, Texas, South Dakota, and to maybe a lesser extent, Nevada. There are other organizations. I chose to go with Escapees. I've been a member, and I found that their rates were very good. And they helped me. There was a form that needed to be signed and notarized, and that's what I really, I don't know. I had done it before, when I was in New Hampshire, so why this escaped me, I don't know. But anyhow, I didn't remember that. And with getting that form notarized and physically into their office in Texas could have been a problem given the time frame that I was working with. I had to have everything done by today. This is the 31st of August, and this is the last day where my New Hampshire registration plates were valid. So anyway, make a long story short, I overnighted it. They got it. They worked super fast for me, and via request I said, listen, don't mail anything back to me. Mail my certification about my address and all that kind of thing. If you would just attach it as part of an email, I'll print it here. And that's what they did, and that's what I used. So number 1, get your address, your in-state address. Make sure that's all set up via whatever means you can to get it done. Second is, this brings me to another topic, and that is banking. I never thought to mention banking before because it doesn't seem like it really fits in, but it kind of sort of does. Most of us get our bills electronically, not 100%, but most of us do, and certainly probably the majority of us pay online. So you'd think, well, what difference does it make where your bank is located? Occasionally you run into cases where you just need to have the services of a local bank, and that's one of the reasons why I took the recommendation of Bob Wells way back before I became a nomad and was considering this lifestyle. He said, go with a national bank, and Bank of America is one of the choices. Wells Fargo, which has had some bad press in the past on its financial side, is another. Chase, and I'm sure there's other national banks. So it's I chose Bank of America because I know there's a lot of them in the South and Southwest. So I actually was glad I did, because about 20 minutes away I was able to go to a branch and with free of charge walk in and get 2 forms signed and notarized for me. The first was having to do with my address, my physical in-state address. Now, Florida accepts a declaration of domicile, I think they call it, but it has to be notarized. So that's one thing I did, and the other form that needs to be notarized had to do with getting my address, and that is basically authorizing your mail provider, if you want them to, and I certainly do. I want them to be able to accept my mail and open it, in my case read it if they need to, or scan it so that I can get it electronically if it's something that I have to have physically. So those 2 forms needed to be notarized, and that's bringing me around again to get a bank that's this national in case you need them too. So anyway, you need 2 forms of identification in addition to your 2 forms of verification that you've got an actual in-state address, which in my case was that declaration, and my mail provider sent out a letter again as an email attachment welcoming me and attesting to the fact that my address is here in Bushnell, Florida. So the tax office here was glad to accept both of those, and there was no problem. So the address was secure. The second thing is, who are you? So you need 2 forms of identification. Typically it's going to be your passport, a social security card, or a birth certificate, an original birth certificate issued by your state, not the hospital, with a raised seal. So I had all of those, so I just took 2, and I think in my case I took my passport and my social security card so they could identify who I was. And third, you need to have in-state insurance. So on my way to, kind of the progress was like this. I got the address all set up. The following morning I got up, went to an insurance office. I had talked to them on the phone and online the week prior to getting here. I liked their quote, "Florida is high," in my estimation. But they were as good as any I had gotten. So that morning, which was Wednesday morning, I went to the insurance office, got that all taken care of, drove immediately from the insurance office over to the tax office. In Florida, I didn't know this, they do not have a DMV. Just think, I think there's a lot of us would like to see the DMV abolished. What they do there is everything, which was really a neat system. So I walked up to the window. I sat a little while and waited, but I walked up to the window. I was able to do everything, which included getting a photograph taken for my new license, driver's license. I was able to change the title on my vehicle from New Hampshire to Florida, and get a plate. So those are the 3 things you walk out of there with if you've got all your ducks in order, and I did. You got a new driver's license. Mine has a gold seal, a plate, the new Florida driver's plate, and a Florida registration for my vehicle. So everything was done in one visit, and just couldn't have been smoother, couldn't have been better. So I recommend following those steps. Think about it, where you want to be as far as the state is concerned. As I said, Florida worked best for me. May not be the case for you. There's other fine choices. And I think the cost of this, bring your checkbook too, by the way, or a credit card or a debit card. It cost me a little over $500 to have everything done. And when you consider what all I had done, then it's not such a terrible fee. That does not include the insurance, obviously. That's a whole other issue. But I was able to get 2 years on the car's plate, the registration. So I don't have to renew it until August of 2020. Driver's licenses here, I can't tell you what I do have the breakdown of what the fee is, I don't recall. They're good here, I believe, for 8 years, and the plate itself is good for 10. They don't ask you to turn in the plate, I guess, but every 10 years. So I'm going to go up on Tuesday and get a plate for the trailer, and I suspect that's going to be very easy since everything else is already in order. I've got my driver's license, I have the title, so it's going to be an in and out process. So again, I thank you very much for watching. Please like this, please subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help me. Comment if you'd like. I always enjoy seeing those. All these kinds of things are encouraging to me and keep me going. So I appreciate it very much. Hope you have a great day, and may your venture be as smooth as mine was. So have a super day. Bye-bye.